Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
Along with the drying up of the Euphrates River, many ancient discoveries have emerged.
Rumors about the world ending are getting louder, and the Euphrates River, an ancient and crucial water source in Southwest Asia, is quietly facing a big change. It's running out of water. This important river is more than just drying up. It's showing us secrets that have been hidden under the water for a long time. Old predictions that were made 2,000 years ago seem to be coming true now, warning us that something big might happen soon. Is the Euphrates drying up a sign that a big, catastrophic prediction is coming true? Are we facing a huge crisis, like the old tales warned us about? The last warning. The Euphrates River, an important water source in Southwest Asia, is facing a big problem. It's drying up. This river has been vital for a long time, helping early communities like Sumer, Mesopotamia, Babylon, and Assyria grow. It provided water, food, and a way for people to move from place to place. But now, things are changing. The river is losing its water fast, leaving the land dry and the people who live there in trouble. For many years, the Euphrates River was the heart of the region. For thousands of years, it helped people build homes and grow crops on its banks. Big old cities such as Sippar, Nippur, Shuruppak, Mari, and Kirkuk did well because the river gave them rich soil and water. This river was so important that it was even mentioned in very old writings from the mid-3rd millennium BCE, showing that people also knew its value back then. But with the river drying up, the environment and the animals that live there are in danger. Different kinds of snakes, like the Persian sand viper and Levantine viper, and animals such as river otters, wolves, and wild pigs might not survive. Even birds like crows, vultures, storks, and eagles could disappear. The plants and animals that make the river their home are facing a tough time if things don't change. There are several reasons why the Euphrates is losing water. There's not enough rain, there are long periods of drought, and people are not using the water wisely. Plus, there are many dams that keep the water from flowing freely. This is a big problem for over 7 million people who depend on the river. They don't have enough water, their crops are dying, and some families must leave their homes and villages. The river drying up is not just about nature, but also about the suffering people. This devastating effect also has a deep cultural meaning. In Christianity, when the Euphrates dries up, it's seen as a sign that the world's end is near. This idea makes people think more about the future and what might be hidden under the river's dry bed. Hidden mysteries under the river. The river is often thought of as a dark place that holds Satan or the fallen angels. The story goes that God punished these angels for their wrongdoings by locking them up in a dark place until they are judged. The Bible links God's final anger with the Euphrates River, marking it as the edge of the land God promised to his people. It's believed that under this river, some fallen angels are trapped in the dark, waiting for the end of times. While some of these angels are free to roam the earth and test people, others are stuck in this dark prison. The book of Revelation talks about a huge army of demons, as many as 200 million coming out of this place. When they are released, they will bring fear and pain to the world. People will be in so much pain that they will want to die, but they won't be able to. The suffering these demons cause is said to be very severe, like the sting of a scorpion, but even worse, because it's believed to come from a place of pure evil. The sacred text also mentions Jesus' efforts to rid the world of fallen angels and evil spirits, emphasizing that humans are engaged in a spiritual battle, not just physical or worldly conflicts. This fight against dark and tempting forces is a daily challenge for believers, but they find strength in God's grace and support. A mysterious tunnel. The Euphrates River losing its water has alarmed many people who care about the environment. But it has also shown us some amazing things from long ago. Because the water level is going down, mainly because of changes in the climate, the building of dams, and people using too much water, we can now see old structures. One of these structures is an old tunnel that's really well made, with stairs that have lasted a very long time. Some people who live near the river think this tunnel, called the Euphrates Tunnel, is very special, and might even be linked to stories about angels from the Bible's book of Revelation. But people who study history and old things, like scholars and archaeologists, are more interested in when the tunnel was made and why. They think it was built around 2180 to 2160 BCE, maybe by order of a queen named Semiramis. The tunnel connected two royal homes across the river in the old city of Babylon. But the tunnel isn't the only thing that's been found. People who study old things have found lots of other stuff too. These finds help us understand how people lived, what they believed, and how they built things in Mesopotamia a long time ago. They've found things like tablets with writing on them, the oldest kind of writing we know, and what's left of old cities, temples, and big homes. These finds tell us a lot about how advanced and spiritual the people were back then. The problem is that the river drying up isn't just letting us see these old things, it's also causing trouble for now and for the future. As the river gets smaller, it's making life hard for millions of people who need the water for farming, for their businesses, and even in their homes. This means that people need to work together and think carefully about how to use water to make sure there's enough for everyone, now and in the years to come. Tracks of extinction animals. This severe drought has led to fantastic findings at Dinosaur Valley State Park in Texas. The Paluxy River's water went down because it was so dry, and this showed dinosaur footprints that are thought to be 113 million years old. The park, not too far from Dallas-Fort Worth, is famous for having old dinosaur tracks. But this time, they found tracks that are usually hidden under the river's mud and water. They found about 75 new footprints, adding to the park's big collection of dinosaur tracks. There were footprints from two different types of dinosaurs. The first one, called Acrocanthosaurus, was a big, meat-eating dinosaur. It was 15 feet tall and weighed about 14,000 pounds. Its footprints had 3 toes and were really big. The second dinosaur, called Sauroposeidon protolase, was even bigger. It was a plant-eating dinosaur that could be 100 feet long and weigh as much as 88,000 pounds. Its footprints were big and round, like elephant footprints. They called this discovery the Lone Ranger Trackway. It had about 140 tracks from just one dinosaur, and 60 of them showed up because the riverbed dried up. People who work at the park and volunteers have been writing down everything about the tracks and cleaning them. They want to make sure these tracks can be studied and enjoyed in the future. Even though we can see these tracks now, they'll probably be covered up again when it rains. But the mud and silt that cover the tracks help protect them from getting worn away, keeping these amazing old tracks safe for people in the future. Mesopotamian archaeological treasures. In the area where the Tigris and Euphrates rivers are, the water has gone down because it's been very dry. This showed some really old places and treasures in Iraq and Syria. These areas are where some of the first big communities in the world started. In northern Syria, the water going down in the Al-Assad Reservoir, which was made in the early 1970s, showed old places, including graveyards that are 11,000 years old. One of these places is on a hill called Tel Kamluk, which has stuff from 3000 to 4000 BC. Another place, called Tel Meribet, has things from 9000 BC, including what might be the first wall in Syria, made 11,000 years ago. In Iraq, the dry weather showed the city of Zajiko, which was a big place in the ancient Mitanni kingdom from 1550 BC to 1350 BC. This city is near the Mosul Dam Reservoir. The first time people saw it was in 2018 when the water went down. Now, the water going down has shown big buildings, a place where they made metal, and really big walls and towers. People studying the place found many things like brick walls, seals, pots, writing on clay tablets, and even parts of walls that still had their original colors. This city in Iraq, which was a big city in the Mitanni Empire, was found near the Mosul Dam Reservoir. Before the water came back, people studying the place made maps of the city and found hundreds of old things. They found a big place where people worked, strong walls and towers, and a big building for storing things. The city's walls were made of dried mud and had been underwater for over 40 years. They were in good shape, probably because a long time ago, around 1350 BCE, an earthquake covered the bottom part of the city with rubble, keeping it safe for a long time. People also found pots with over 100 clay tablets with writing on them. Some were even still sealed in clay. These tablets stayed in good shape underwater for a long time. The information on these tablets will help us learn much about the city and how people lived there. Finding these old things is important for understanding how people lived long ago, but it also shows how the weather changes and how we must care for water in this area. Iraq is getting hotter much faster than other places in the world. This brings these old treasures back to light, but it also means we must pay attention to the environment and be smart about how we use water. The Mangar. The Mangar, known scientifically as Luciobarbus isolcanus, is a big and important fish living in the Tigris-Euphrates River system. This river system runs through several countries, including Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. The Mangar is known for being one of the biggest freshwater fish. Some of them can grow up to 2.3 meters, 7.5 feet long, and weigh as much as 140 kilos, 310 pounds. But most of them are a bit smaller, usually between 1 and 1.5 meters, 3.3, 4.9 feet long, and weigh about 60 kilos, 130 pounds. They can live for up to 17 years. You can recognize a mangar by its big head and its body covered in small, shiny scales. Even though they don't have teeth, mangars are really good at finding food. They eat many different things that live in the water, like tiny plants and animals, smaller fish, and sometimes even birds. A long time ago, people valued the mangar for eating and its role in their culture. Old pictures from around 1500–1000 BC show Assyrian priests or gods wearing mangar skin. This shows how important the mangar was back then, but these days there aren't as many mangars as there used to be. People have been catching too many of them, and the places where they live are disappearing. This has made many people worried about whether mangars will be around in the future. To help with this, some people are trying to raise mangars in fish farms. This could be a way to make sure there are enough mangars without having to catch them in the wild. Mountain of Gold. The Euphrates River's unprecedented drought has shown a darker side nobody knew before. We are talking about ruins and caves that were underwater before. This has made people think and talk a lot, especially about old predictions from holy books like the Bible and the Quran. In the Bible, there are two parts that talk about the Euphrates River drying up. Some people think these are warning signs about the end of the world. The first part is in Jeremiah 50:38, where it says that as a punishment from God, the water in the Euphrates and Tigris rivers will dry up. The second part is in the book of Revelation. It describes how the river will dry up to make a path for kings from the east. This is supposed to happen before a huge battle called Armageddon. In the teachings of Islam, Abu Huraira's story is told where the Prophet Muhammad said that the Euphrates would show a mountain of gold. He warned people not to take any of it. This story is seen as a test or a challenge. The gold is supposed to cause much fighting among people trying to get it. Even though these stories are very old and meaningful, some things people are saying on the internet right now are untrue. People have been sharing pictures and stories saying that a gold mountain has come out of the Euphrates. But when people checked these stories, they found out that the pictures and stories were not right. They were either changed, removed from their real context, or completely made up. One example is a picture of an old place from the Mitanni Empire that people said was proof of the prophecy coming true. But the real reason the Euphrates River is losing water is not as mysterious. It's because of long periods of very little rain and changes in the climate. This area, which was where some of the first big communities started, is now running out of water. This is a big problem for the millions of people who need the river for their everyday life. This water shortage also makes people worry about more fighting over water in an area with a lot of conflict. A sign of the end time. Even though these stories are very old and meaningful, some things people are saying on the internet right now are untrue. People have been sharing pictures and stories saying that a gold mountain has come out of the Euphrates. But when people checked these stories, they found out that the pictures and stories were not right. They were either changed, removed from their real context, or completely made up. One example is a picture of an old place from the Mitanni Empire that people said was proof of the prophecy coming true. But the real reason the Euphrates River is losing water is not as mysterious. It's because of long periods of very little rain and changes in the climate. This area, which was where some of the first big communities started, is now running out of water. This is a big problem for the millions of people who need the river for their everyday life. This water shortage also makes people worry about more fighting over water in an area with a lot of conflict. Interest in prophecy increases at times of great instability, said Mark Hitchcock, author of several books on prophecy and pastor of Faith Bible Church in Edmond, Oklahoma. People want to know what's going to happen, that there's an end to the turmoil, that someone's in control, he said. The rapture, the Antichrist's rise to power, the 7 years of hell on earth, Armageddon, and the return of Jesus all occurred before Jesus' 1,000-year reign on earth. Other pre-tribulation believers, those who believe Jesus will rapture believers before the Great Tribulation, are convinced that the Antichrist will rule the world from a restored Babylon. We're left with questions as the Euphrates dries up, uncovering ancient mysteries. Are these signs of major shifts or just nature's course? Hit like, subscribe, and let's explore together. What's your take on these events? Drop a comment below.